This is Mark Dell with Android Spin, and this review is for Mini Squadron Special, developed by Supermono Studios and ported to Android by Greyfin Studios. Do you feel the need to shoot flying cats out of your UFO while listening to classical music? I hope not. But if this is a dream you want to follow, then you could do a lot worse than checking out last year's Mini Squadron, or the recently released Mini Squadron Special. What makes it so special? Well, it's very much the same as last year's game, but with more helicopter and hamster. So Mini Squadron is a little bit wacky, and if you played last year's title, then I'm sure you've enjoyed flying around craft such as Pandair, which is a plane with a panda head. And to get very quickly to the point, if you did play last year's game and you want some more of the same, then besides a few additions here and there, that's exactly what you get with Mini Squadron Special. For those of you who didn't play the previous game, Mini Squadron Special is a combat shooter where you attack waves of aircraft in 8 different areas and try to build up a high score to unlock each of the 50 different aircraft. The game is controlled with a set of directional arrows in one corner and a fire button on the other side. You have full movement around the small 2D area. There is also a degree of physics involved, as climbing too high or slowly will cause you to drop into a stall. The different planes all handle differently, with things such as speed and turning circle making a very big difference to how you approach combat. But also each craft has its own weapons, which vary greatly from devastating lasers and homing missiles to simple guns and fireballs. There's no upgrading of planes or switching weapons, so often you'll get a new high score and unlock a craft only to never use it because of the poor weapons it carries. Getting a new high score to unlock new craft is done by trying to score kill combos without being hit. This can mean that the slower crafts that take a real pounding might be easier to play with, but you'll definitely be getting lower scores, so you'll need to balance between risk and reward when choosing, or just keep hidden and firing off lasers and homing missiles. Combat plays out very quickly, so it's fortunate that the graphics are kept very clean. There's rarely any clash between the combat going on in the foreground and the background art, and with arrows to help you find the other craft and smoke trails and fire, even when things get a little cluttered, things don't become confusing. The game's art is hand-drawn and creative, but some of the sprites simply aren't that well drawn, especially some of the animals that come across the screen. You'll often have to look closely to understand what they are supposed to be. The music is made up from various pieces of classical music. These aren't particularly great quality, but the obscurity of listening to music like the Blue Dunnaby Waltz while playing a game of this type is a great novelty, and I always kept the music turned up. Mini Squadron Special definitely isn't a sequel to the previous game, it's more like a standalone mission pack. The helicopters do mix things up with their instant turning, making them potentially very powerful tools to rack up larger combos, but that alone doesn't necessarily make this game better than the original. Either game is worth the purchase though, as a fun and unique time waster.